recording. Okay, Assist Masterclass Part 2 with Jkuch, but the full run. Please welcome back to the stage, Jkuch, once again.
All right. Hey, what's going on? All right. Hey. All right. I'm just going to start with something on this song to talk about. Okay. Let's see. All right. All right. So I'm not that good at figuring out what to do with my song. I'm going to lay out what I do. All right. So here's one thing. With my music, I'm going to say what is something that you notice in my tracks that you don't notice in Elijah's?
Pretty heavy, different sound design, I guess. That's what I notice.
The unique sound design? Okay. All
What
right.
unique? You can't just say that.
Yeah, I'd say unique, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, that works.
Are you just
Behind
trying to
it.
one up me in this call?
Uh,
Yep.
now, do we all agree that Jkuch is more attractive than Elijah as well?
That's not even true, dude.
Yes. All right. So yeah, I mean, as long as we all agree on that.
See, this is the character that he's building, by the way, guys. He has to stay at this, he's committed to this character.
All right, so yeah, so I am better than Elijah. So here's the thing about me, though. All right, so when I produce a jam, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I have a thing where as long as I have a certain style that is noticeable in every single song that I create, it doesn't matter what genre I make. So you can make any genre. You can make some K-pop music or some trap songs and it still sound like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the main reason why that happens is, one, it's the sound design, and it's also the way you mix. A great example for that is Max D. If you've heard of Max D, you know it's his song when you hear it, because it's the way he mixes his snares and drums and everything, the way he mixes his kicks, the way everything sounds together. Not only that, is he masters with the same master plugin on every single track, just like I do. I use Isotope Ozone, and I always have a certain preset starting out on every single song. Is my screen sharing, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's doing really well. A lot of people. So there's this controversy, Joshua, about people starting with mastering chains on while they produce. So what can you say about that? Since you're
Hey,
already on
I'm
that
going to
point?
tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you an amazing thing. I learned this from Madion. So I watched an interview. I read an interview years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, that Madion actually masters his drums beforehand. He doesn't master his whole track, but he masters his drums beforehand. So that's why he's able to know how hard hitting they need to be for his tracks. You know what I mean? He adjusts the volume of them beforehand, and he's able to figure out, how they're going to sound before he even finishes the track. So basically, I do the same thing, but what I do is, while I'm mastering the track, I'll know how it's going to sound, throughout the whole thing. So here's an example. If I had my master chain off right now, if I just had this off, everything is going to sound a lot punchier than... All right, let's talk about mastering. I'm not that I'm good at mastering or anything, but we're going to talk about this. So if you notice the peaks in my drums, if I were to render this out, which I'm actually going to do right now. And yes, it's in the red right now, but it's fine.
Is audio supposed to be coming out?
Yeah, did I not share this in audio? Okay, hold on.
Wait, turn on the audio.
Well, I'm depressed now. Why isn't it? Okay, hold on. How did I do this? New share. Let me try new share. Oh, that's why. All right, let's see if this works now.
Ooh,
Can you hear
easy,
it?
flawless.
Okay, so yeah, I have it with no mastering on there right now. Edit, cut. All right, here we go. So I guess this waveform isn't going to help. Why am I doing this as an example? But you could see in this waveform right here. All right, you see how sharp the kick drum is in this? This kick drum is ridiculously sharp compared to the sub bass. Now, when you are making a song without mastering, you have to figure out that that kick needs to be that loud compared to the sub, right? Now, what you'll notice is when you're mixing your track, without the mastering plugin, when you get to the end, when you finally master, you're going to realize that your punch that you thought you were hearing is not going to be there. It's actually that's partially what mastering is it compresses the waveform. So all this stuff is going to get pushed down. All these little sharp peaks, they're all going to be pushed closer. And I imagine the way that I describe compression is like a snowball. Imagine all these waveforms here as loose snow, right? You pick it off the ground and it's just a pile of snow in your hand. And what happens with compression is you push all these, bundles and, whatever the heck they are of snow together until they're packed together into a snowball, right? Until they're, and, it really just depends on how hard you pack it. But, snowball can get as dense as you need it to. But, for mastering songs, you don't need to compact it that much. Anyways, but that's basically what compression is. That's the way that I describe it, is these peaks here, these little kick peaks. Transients, yes. They become closer along with the sub, and the sub comes closer with the, the synths and all the sound design and all that. They all fit closer together as far as volume-wise. So instead of that, and the same thing with normalize too, you notice that too, normalize somewhat takes care of it. Let me see if I can render out the one with it mastered so you could compare the waveform. And we'll go into sound design in a second. I just wanted to show this quick example. I'm really not that good at mastering. I just have the same mastering chain on it. Hold up.
So what I was telling them is that no producer has to be like the best, all-time greatest at mastering. I think the most important part is just understanding and meeting that threshold that the demographic wants. Like, if it's good enough, then it's good enough, basically.
Yeah, because most of the time, like, Elijah's songs are really quiet and mine are really loud, so don't listen to him.
I have a dynamic.
Oh my god.
I'm like your snowman. Look at this snowman. Look at that guy. It's not even a snowman.
Dude, you look at this. All right, you see, my snowball example. All right, look at this. Here's the first one unmastered. Here's the second one mastered, but it's not mastered to its full potential. I have it to a certain standard so that I could still mix freely and still hear things. And then, towards the end, I'll turn the volume up or I'll turn the compression harder on it or whatever. But there's my example in the play right there. All right.
So a question is, you were speaking about your bass and all your synths, and now they are the same level as your kick drum.
Yeah. So, but why is it that when you mix beforehand, how would you know to make your kick extremely loud compared to your sub bass? Or how would you know to make your drums so much louder than the sub? Because you wouldn't really know what the end bit of it's going to sound like, right? Until you actually master it. So that's why I always have trouble with that, because what would happen is when I used to master toward the end, I'd be like, well, now this doesn't sound as punchy as I liked it. So I'd have to go back in and mix everything and readjust the volume of the kick drum and the snare and all of that. So instead of doing that, I just master while I produce, and I know what it's going to sound like throughout the whole thing. So it's awesome. All right, so I'm deleting that now.
Does anyone have any questions about that before we move on?
No, I think I'm good. Anybody
wanted to go more in depth about it? We'll probably come back to it.
Yeah, we could go back into it. I mean, it's not. Cool. It's a simple fact thing. I call it the snowball effect. Why not call it that? No.
So, James Mahler asked if you could go over your drum structure at one point. Though, if you want to go with your synths, that's fine too.
Drum structure, like the way that the drums go together, like a kick snare thing, like the.
I think the pattern probably.
The pattern.
The pattern or the construction, James. What do you mean? Like layering, like making the drums, or like the drum loop. Hello, James?
Oh, sorry. I realized I was muted. No, just like how you go about like choosing your samples and like your drum like placement essentially.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my drum samples. I'll show you some of the drum packs I have. I actually years ago I would download hip hop drum packs because hip hop drum packs have a lot of the sounds you want. You know, hip hop takes a lot of regular drums, you know, actual recorded drums, and they process them down, they make them lo-fi or whatever. So, you know, here's a really basic drum pack that I got, you know, Hip Hop Makers 4 or whatever this is. You got here, let me turn this up. Okay, so you got all these snares. Okay, so what's one thing you don't notice is, or, you know, one thing I notice immediately is that none of them sound like dubstep snares, which is already like an amazing thing. Not only that, they don't sound like your classic trap snare either, and they don't sound like future bass snare. Now,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jkuch.
The reason why I love using hip hop sample packs is because they're not synthetic sounding. They're not super crazy, you know, EDM sounding. You can actually use them in other things, and that's the main reason why I use them in my tracks, just because they sound more natural to me. And then if I want to add weird effects afterwards, that makes it even better. Like I have, let's see, I have so many different little hip hop ones, but you know, this pack right here I use a lot for my kicks.
So, what made you build the taste of these drums for your tracks? Like, what made you not use EDM kicks for your tracks?
One person I would have to take inspiration from is Grin Parrot. The way that he produces songs, if you listen to his tracks, he uses a lot of hip hop sounds. And actually, that's probably one major reason why, is because I'm a huge fan of his music. And he really, a lot of his drums don't sound EDM-ish. You know, they sound very unique to me. And the way he layers his drums are pretty unique. I mean, he'll have one clap, and then he'll have a totally different clap the second time, and then another clap the third time. He'll change it up every single time, and I just think that's really cool. And I don't really do that, but just the way that he detailed his drums in his tracks are amazing.
Oh, okay, so it's like an influence, and that's like what kind of brought you into that world of drum timbres.
Yeah,
so,
once I listened to his music, I stopped using, you know, dubstep snares and stuff. I mean, for Flying House, I used it kind of jokingly, but...
So I think this is coming back to the overall concept of just listen to as much music as you can, because you still have yet to actually figure, you know, like when you're growing and learning more about music every day, you know, you're still learning more things that you like. And, you know, him listening to Grin Parrot showed him things that he didn't know that he would like. So now it's become such a strong influence that he's now cultivated this new timbre of sound that he, you know, will involve in his music. So another question was like, how do you go about making them? Also, what processing do you typically use on your kicks and snares?
Well, shoot, man. I just have a certain thing of, as far as like my kicks and snares, I try and just find something that, well, I try my best not to use the same kick and snare all the time. That's the thing that I used to fall into a lot. You have to be kind of open to trying new kicks and snares, even though they sound really trashy. Like, honestly, if you're not used to the snare, just use it. You know what I mean? If you, like, all these snares here are pretty much trash. Hold on, let me hear. I mean, they're pretty bad for the most part. You can EQ them and add maybe some slight distortion, but you can fix these snares to make them sound kind of cool in the song. Let me see if I can let me open this track up really quick, show you the drums in that. Because I know what you guys are probably wanting to see is like the way that I do stereo drums, like in Legend of Coda and stuff. Like that's...
Yes, there was actually following that. Someone said, "Where do you get those eerie vocals from the last half of Legend of Coda?"
Oh, I sang some of those.
Ooh.
But to be honest, I also used Bjork a cappella.
Ooh.
And I pitched it and stuff. But yeah, we can go into that. But here, I'll show you this track right here. So I'm gonna play this. This song is like a little work in progress. It's not that great, but I'm gonna play it from right here. If it'll play. We'll see. All right, so my little kick drummies here. I'm using 2 kicks. Let me, I almost don't want to use, I'm using earbuds right now. I want to hear the low end, but as long as you guys can hear the low end, I'm okay with that. Like, can you? Is it okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of low end that comes in this program versus Discord and Skype.
Okay, cool. So, let me get out of here. Move out of the way. Okay, so this kick, the way that I'm EQing this kick is very weird, but these are like the frequencies that I like. You know what I mean? This area here, other than there, and I can't explain this stuff. The way that I explain it is the way that it feels on my jawline when I wear headphones. When I wear headphones, it will vibrate, depending on the headphones you wear, it will vibrate through my jawline, and it feels good. It's like a massage.
That's how you EQ your drums?
These frequencies really massage and really feel good on my jaw. And the way that I know that this is the right area is because this is also the same area that will actually really, really kick in to the chest area when you're in the club. Like when you're listening to speakers in the club and it really just fills up your chest and it's like boom, boom. And it's like you actually feel it in your chest. That's the same frequencies as what feels good in my jawline. So if it feels good in the jawline, it feels good in the chest when you're out on the dance floor. So just, you know exactly what will sound good, especially with headphones.
Who knew?
I don't care about your monitor speakers. Throw those things in the trash. Just get some headphones.
Jkuch, what is your studio setup like?
All right, I don't want to show you a picture of it, but let's just say it's really bad. And all I have is a pair of headphones on my laptop. All right, so I sit down in my room when I'm sad and I'll turn on the computer and I'll hop into FL Studio and then I'll throw my headphones on. And once the kick feels good in my jawline and I've gotten a good massage throughout the day, I'm like, all right, that kick is good. I'm leaving it. Like, this is good. This is like I mean, it's got some distortion in there, which I like. I like the crispiness of the distortion, but I really like not having high end in there because that's a more natural sound.
Well, why is that, though?
Because the actual kick drum, man, it doesn't have that much high end. You don't really... If you look at a drum set, someone's drum set isn't going to have high end on the kick unless it's a hi-hat on top of it or something. It's going to be mostly this frequency anyways. And so is, it's going to be mids mostly. And I know with drums, they don't really take up sub bass anyways. So I think this is probably one of the more natural sounding kicks that I could find, at least. And I enjoy it. And it's still kind of trappy, which I like. So along with that, I layer this kick and I make it stereo. Let me play this one. Let's see what frequencies this takes up. So I have Fruity Stereo Shaper on there, and I have a preset for Stereoize 2. And that makes it just stereo enough that it will still have mono frequencies coming through, but also being able to hear it on your left and right ear very well.
So it doesn't completely phase out.
Yeah, it doesn't phase out completely. Now, if you notice with this, the way that I'm EQing it is really lazy and dumb. But you could see this whole thing filling up the very low end. Now, how this works with the original cake, I don't know, but it layers really nicely. That's just me, though. I could be completely wrong.
I mean, the music sounds good, though. The result sounds good. So if it sounds good, then it should technically work out.
And I think as long as the kicks sound good with the sub, then you're good. So let's play it with the sub bass, which I'm not going to be able to hear very well, but if I can, hold on. No, it's not that one. It's this one. So, yeah, I can't hear that very well. But anyways, I'm also side chaining the kick. Oh, no, I'm not. What the heck am I doing? There's no side chain on this kick. What a freaking dingus.
Write that down. A dingus.
Oh, yeah, there's side chain. Here we go. Oh, there we go. It's because I didn't unmute the freaking kick. Okay, so here we go.
So, number one basic is side chain, as we all know. Can you tell us about the development of the sub while you're on it?
What?
While you're on the sub, would you mind telling us about the development of it?
Of the sub bass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this particular one is almost like an 808. It has a bit of a tail on it, but look at that side chain. You see all that purple? That's what's getting removed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to the sub bass, I use Harmor, which is a neat little plugin. So this sub bass is actually square wave. Don't let that sine wave fool you. I'm not even using that sine wave. I'm using this square wave right here. So the reason why I like the square wave is because when you want it to actually pop up higher on the frequencies, it will actually show through better than the sine wave, if that makes any sense, which it really doesn't. But
I believe you're talking about harmonic.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to give you an example. Here's my filter right here. This is going to take out any high end, or basically from this end of the spectrum to this end. If I move this knob, it's going to basically move an EQ. So, well, it's got a short delay. Take this off. Okay, so hold on. No, that doesn't do anything?
No,
Shoot.
Didn't hear anything.
Here we go. All right, well, apparently this is with it all the way down, and it still cuts through pretty well. I also have distortion on here, slightly, which helps with adding those harmonics. Hold on. Okay, so you know how in headphones, if you have headphones that don't have a lot of sub, like I have right now, I only have earbuds. You can just barely hear that, if other than this, where that goes through a lot easier. So the reason why I like this sub a lot is because it fills up more harmonics than just the lowest sub.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. It's it does more than just single sub. I wish I can explain that better. I don't know how
so I was commenting on some of other people's tracks. Sometimes you have a sub that doesn't have much body or width to it, so it kind of sounds a little, it could use a little bit more life or excitement to it.
Yeah.
So we had a question that was like, don't the sub and the kicks frequencies conflict?
Well, yes, they do, but that's why I do side chaining on it. I mean, not that side chaining matters, but think about it like this too. I almost think that the kick drums should also have sub. It's important for me because it adds a lot of weight to that kick. Um, and here's the example right here. These two sounds here. I think partially because they are stereo. These kicks here are stereo, so they're not going to be really conflicting with the mono sub that I have here. It kind of does, but not really. They just barely kind of skim the edges of the sub so that when they play, they don't really interfere that much. Not only that, is this kick is side chaining with the sub bass. So and I think with these with these stereo kicks as well, with the sub in them, really adds weight to the overall sound.
Do you think the stereo kick is essential?
I think so. Yeah, and that's just me, and I don't want to overuse it. A big inspiration on why I use this stereo kick layer is because of Tsurunda, Tsurund.
That's what I called him too. But, oh wait, no, yeah, Saruda, Saruda.
I don't know how you spell that, but yeah, Tsurunda. I mean, he uses a lot of interesting sounding kicks that really don't even punch that well, but they have a lot of low end in them. So what happens is, just like you were saying with the interference of the kick and sub, his do that a lot. Like his kick will just interfere with the sub bass completely, but he'll side chain it a little bit. It won't be heavy side chain or anything. And it's kind of just an interesting sound because it kind of conflicts, but still works in a way. And it also depends on the type of music you want to make, because I don't know, I want my music to have more of a trap feel, especially for this song.
So this is kind of what we learned from M Cubed. Just to answer that to Quentin, I don't know if even Joshua noticed this, but the way he EQ'd his kicks kind of gave space for the sub to actually breathe and live out. You notice that his kicks are EQ'd like a couple of hertz higher than his sub is EQ'd in.
Yeah, I could see that. Like the low bass, it ends at the very low bass here, not completely at the sub region.
Yeah,
so
you have a
where I cut
point.
off. Yeah.
Notice the focal point is the mid and the low mid area. That little sharp point, that's not where your sub is peaking. Your sub peaks below that. So there's more space for it to live and breathe out, since there are different focal points.
And see, that's where I'm literally using parametric EQ as a volume boost too, like a freaking nerd.
Like a nerd. Write that down, guys.
Right, as a nerd. Okay, so look, you see how harsh this sub is kicking in? Not only that, all right, so let me see if I can pause this. Nope. Okay, so you see where I paused that, right? Now you got this is why I like doing this is why I add distortion to the sub, and not only that is I'm using a square wave. Because I'm using a square wave, it's adding these harmonics that you would not get in a regular sine wave. And that's just me. Not only that, is the distortion on it is what's adding these extra harmonics. And it's a very slight distortion, and I'm actually filtering it out. So what happens is you have this main low sub right here. This is the main point of it, the main note. And on top of that, you have more harmonics that bounce off of it. And you can see it up here. And it just cuts off here because of the filter that I have on the distortion. The filter, it cuts out any more after that, any more of the high end. So it's pretty much a volume adjustment that goes down. And I guess it's hard to visualize that, but when you look at this distortion, it's just barely anything on here. And of course, we should all know what distortion is. It's, it adds that crispiness to a song. But in this case, it's not crispy. It's just harmonics. And I'm just lowering the filter. And let's see. I wonder what this would sound like. Oh, no, not with that. I got to put the EQ back on. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. Well, let me look at the EQ here. Let me take off all these effects really quick. We're going to take a look at it without... I'm going to leave Maximus on there, which is my compression. but I'm going to take the EQ off. This will actually show you exactly what frequency I'm using before my EQing.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so it's just a really simple square wave. Like, it's just obvious, it's a simple square wave. So what I did was, as I distorted it, I lowered the filter on the distortion. And you can even see on the spectrum up here, it doesn't lower it all the way. So when I pull up my EQ here, these white lines are the volume, right? So I'm just adjusting the volume of what frequency I want. So I don't want all this stuff here. I don't want all this. Don't give me that mess. I don't want that low mids and mids right there. I just want the sub bass and some of the frequencies sticking out just a little bit. I like a little bit of the frequencies coming through because that's what makes it easier to listen to in headphones. And I'm really bad at explaining it, but just bear with me. You understand. All right. So yeah, all right. That's enough with the sub. I don't care about that sub. We got that. All right. Let me move back to the trap song real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you a little tip and trick that I use a lot.
Okay, cool. Tips and
Here's
tricks.
Here's a little tips and tricks.
All right, Jkuch. Also, in 6 minutes, this is something that's really easy to do. We just have to start a new meeting, and then we can keep going. Apparently, there's a 40-minute break.
Oh, yeah.
So you could just like end call and then call again, and then it'll restart.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. All right. So with this track, I'm going to show you something that you would never believe. This is the most amazing thing. This will cure your life. All right. So just listen with your ear holes to this really quick, okay?
My ear holes. Ooh.
Oh shit.
All right, but you get the idea. All right.
What was that?
This is granular synthesis stuff. So basically what I did was, it's a very, very simple way. This is a really nice tip and trick if you want to have amazing sound design and not have to know anything. You really don't need to know anything. You don't have to know anything about anything.
Okay.
Like this is how you make sounds like Jkuch without being amazing at producing. So yeah, I love these sounds because
Aliens.
yeah, it's like alien sounds. But not only that, is I used it in this part right here. And let me see if I can get back to where it was. I think it's this part right here. So in this part of the song, this part.
Oh.
So yeah, this is granular. This is all I did was I basically, listen. Do you hear these things here? These little popping sounds here?
Yeah.
Do you remember from earlier when I was talking about those ping pong balls sounds?
Yep.
So those are the ping pong balls and they're getting time stretched.
It's crazy.
But not only that, okay, so basically, for you to visualize this, all that I did was I saved a render of this song. All I did was render out a certain portion of the drop, or I think I rendered out like this much. And I went into Granulizer. So the way you do that, you can use Edison. I usually just save it from the master channel. I did it with the mastering plugin on there already. I didn't really care about it. And all I did was record it.
Yo, let's start our sound design portion with a recall so we could just smoothly go into it without restarting.
Okay, so what? End the call?
Yeah, we all end the call and then we start again.
All right, let's do it right now. Do it
right now. Everyone end meeting for all. Okay, cool.
All right, I'm getting back in.
How do I invite everybody that we just did?
I'm hopping in. You better get everyone.
I am. They're all in. They're all in.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Wait, I'm so confused. What went wrong?
What? So what it does is if there's more than 3 people with the free account, it cancels out after 40 minutes. And so this was going on for 40 minutes. So it told me that it was going to shut down automatically until you start a new one.
All right. I'm getting tired, boys. Let's get going. All right.
No, keep it up. You were doing so great.
No, I'm going. That's what I'm saying. All right. Yeah. What did I do? I rendered out a song. Okay, so I rendered this out, right? So this is just, just imagine this is your song. This could be anyone's song. This is your song. Just imagine this is your song you're working on. And you're like, how do I spice up this crappy piece of trash? All right, see that garbage right there needs a little bit more to it, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take that sound right there. You take that sound, you throw it in Fruity Granulizer. So what I do is I go to my step sequencer, go to insert. You gotta find that thing. It's called Fruity Granulizer. It's something you've probably never used in your life, and you should use it. All right, so you open that thing up. You go to sample.
I think someone's microphone is on. I think that's James.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Got you.
You take that Fruity Granulizer. There's not much to it. It's this little thingy here with all these knobs. You go to your Edison sound that you recorded. You hit this little horn symbol right there. Am I recording with video? Okay, I just had this all of a sudden realization that I may not be recording at all. Okay, so anyways.
There you good.
All right. So yeah, see that sample? Now it's in Granulizer. So what will happen is when you use these different notes, and this really just depends on what type of music you make. I mean, my music's very experimental anyways, and this is perfect for if you want to actually completely cross the lines of your genre that you're in. Like, for example, if you're a melodic producer, you should just completely try something else.
What in all hell?
Is that in your background? Who's that?
Now it's time for today's special live edition.
What is this? Who's that? Wait. Who is that? Who has this children's show going on in the background?
What and why? I'm confused.
Okay, all right. I think we're good. We can continue.
Hi.
What? Wait, who's that?
Hi, how you doing?
Who
What
is
the?
that?
Who the hell is this?
Who's MAGA 2020?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just gonna kick this person.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know who this was. I'm removing you. Goodbye. You have one chance to tell me who you really are. Okay, I'm kicking you. Sorry. Goodbye.
Whoa. Wait, is this chat open? Like, did you make it so it's private?
I don't know how to use this app.
Oh my.
That was so scary.
That was
Random.
so weird.
The voice was just as scary.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
I did not like
Jesus.
that.
I did not like that either.
God.
Wow,
Well,
that was
Yeah, Elijah, try and see if you can make it so it's a private thing.
Yeah. Okay. You do.
I don't know
your thing.
how to do that. Yeah, let me do my thing while you investigate. All right, so along with creepy sounds. All right, so what happens now? Forget that we ever heard that. We're gonna make some creepier sounds than that.
True that.
True that, brother. All right, so I'm going to take my granulizer here. All right, so I'm going to go to piano roll with my granulizer. Your first note is going to play it in regular tone. No, it's not. This one. No, this one. Yeah, that's going to play that regular tone. What I tend to do is I bring it one octave up, and it makes it sound very interesting to me, especially if you wanted to use the granulizer effects and stuff. So let me play that really quick. So. Now the plus side of doing this, where if you're going to do sound design with your own song, you can get some really interesting textures that you probably wouldn't think of. So what I will do at this point, does everyone have a MIDI controller? Do you have a MIDI controller with knobs on it?
I do. I think I do. Yeah.
If you have one, you really should get, I mean, if you don't have one, you should get one.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this Novation launch control that I have.
Mhm.
And this is what will actually give your MIDI controller purpose in life, because
Mhm.
if I didn't use granulizing stuff, this thing would be sitting in the dust for the rest of its days, man.
Mhm.
Which it pretty much does, but, you know, except for the rare occasions I
Yeah.
use granular synthesis stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm plugging it in right now. I'm just going to go ahead and use it.
Is it, like, not nearly as effective, or to try to
It's-
like automate it?
Yeah, because think about it like this. Here, let me pull up granulizer. So you
Mhm.
have all of these different things here. You can always automate them, which is fine,
Mhm.
but it's not as awesome as taking like 2 or 3 knobs and adjusting them by hand and seeing
Yeah.
what sounds come out of it. So I can put this actual granulizer sound in a loop.
Mhm.
I don't know how long it goes for, but I'm basically just gonna see what happens here.
Mhm.
Once this thing moves out the way. There we go. All right. Maybe I should just use the short keys like I should. What I'm going to do is take Edison, open up a regular thing here. Before that, I'm going to link these knobs. I'm going to link hold on here. Basically just going to say what they are. Whatever this knob is, I'm going to link these all to different knobs on my MIDI controller. Not all of them, because I don't like some of these ones. I don't like the pan one. That one's dumb. So, and I don't like the random one. So I like this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are the only ones that I use. And they're really cool because once you get used to messing with these, you'll figure out what sounds good. And you can just play this in a loop and it will make some magical sounds. So let's see what happens when I start recording. Let me see. Hold on. So I'm going to hit wait. I'm going to start from the beginning. So if you look, I can adjust these.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh shoot. Okay,
That's
so
a
when
song
that
by itself.
yeah, so when that happens, I just replay it. All right, that's a good enough example. But what I usually do is I go for about 15 minutes where it's just freestyling. And that can create some of the coolest sounds ever, I think. What will happen is, then you just drag it out on there and then you just go through and slice out the cooler sounds that you can find. And I don't, it can be kind of overwhelming because there will be some amazing sounds in there. And I only use, a few seconds of each. And if there's one that's worthy enough that it can actually take the whole attention of your track, then I will do that. And that perfect example is the one that I showed earlier with this one. Like, if you notice, I take away everything else almost and just leave it so it's isolated to that, so you can just hear this one sound, because this sound alone will just draw your attention, I think. You know what I mean? And people are like, how did he make that sound? Well, I just turned some knobs. It was really easy. So
Wait, so what's like the main granular sound that you used in this song as like a synth lead or something?
as a synth lead,
Yeah, so what did you utilize granular synthesis in this song? Aside from that one-time stretch part.
that's all. I mean, well, okay, so this here, but there's a lot of different sounds that I use, like this one. This was just, a few, like 1 second of something that I chopped out of that big waveform. There's a lot of different sounds here, like this one here too. See, that was these were just things that I chopped out. And I think things like this will freaking change your song like crazy,
Right.
Without them, it just, and this thing here too. So
Ooh, that one's really cool.
When they all layer with the song, these little sounds, these weird sounds that you hear is going to make the track amazing, I think.
So, what can you say about some of the other sounds that you utilize, like some of the things that you program in Harmor, or the lead synth, or that weird metallic lead?
This actual metallic lead thing is just some. Hold on. Let me take away all the effects. It's probably
is that the thing from Ed, Ed and Eddie?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Let me normalize it. Let me see. All right, so I'm not saving this project, so we're not going to worry about whatever I do with it, but that's all the sound is. It's a twang sound effect from Ed, Ed and Eddie, and I mess with the. Okay, so it's just some weird sound now. All right, so I adjust the pitch on it. I EQ'd it. I didn't really EQ it, I guess. Wave Shaper, that adds some distortion to it. I just added some little peaks here. Basically, all it does is it adds a bit of that crispiness to the high end, to the treble. You can see without it. Then I add reverb with really short decay time. And I made the dryness down. Maybe I should bring it up. Let's see what happens when I bring that up a little bit. Meets, because dry is going to be the original waveform. Here's the wet and reflection level. I don't know what that means. And I didn't move this because I want mono and stereo frequencies to go in. I don't want more stereo frequencies in here, although it already sounds very stereo. And if you look at the room size, it's tiny too. And you can always look at this with Fruity Reverb. You can always look at the size of this thing, and it will show you how kind of a visual thing for it. Now, a lot of people don't like the stock plugins because, for example, the Fruity Reverb gives a very tinny sound as it is, but I kind of like it. I think it's a unique sort of sound. And of course, I threw Sound Good Eyes around there. I mean, who wouldn't? But I did very, very little, not much at all. All right, Sound Good Eyes. We don't want it all the way. All right, it sounds good on its own, but you know, sometimes you need a little bit more. Then I used the limiter for the sidechain. So now that I changed the pitch and everything a little bit, let's see what happens. Not only that, I also have a pitch adjustment, so it's going down. So let's hear it with the new adjustments I did on it. So yeah, it's not quite the same. It still sounds kind of interesting changing it up like that. I mean, I just changed it up just barely. I mean, I can drag it out more. Let's see.
So it is going to take some tweaking to get to that sweet spot.
Yeah, and I'm not going to save this. I really hope I'm actually.
Yeah. Save as a before anything goes wrong.
Yeah, because I know
before MAGA 2020 comes back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Go ahead, James. We're just saving right now. You can say it out loud.
Yeah. So I was wondering. So you said like if we're making like melodic type music, like don't use granular synthesis, or just like don't use it as much.
It really depends on what you want, because I mean, there's plenty of examples that I have. Like, let's go on my SoundCloud real quick. Oh wait, this won't show SoundCloud, will it?
Yeah, it should.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me see if I could share.
And to answer Quentin's message, he said, "Is it playing the same note every time?" Yes, it is. It's playing the same sample, but what you can do is right-click, and on the pitch knob, when you double-click the sample, it should say make automation clip, and you could actually automate the pitch going down. So yes, you have the same sample, but because of the automation turning the pitch knob down, the sample is also being tuned down every semi-step until, I don't know, wherever you end it. I hope that helps. I
can show him that too really quick, but I'm just going to give an example of using granular synthesis in something melodic. I'm going to use this as an example because this is a very happy song and it has a lot of weird sounds in it. So when you go to the drop, right? Holy crap, that's louder than I thought. All right.
That's how you know you're a producer. It's louder than I thought.
Okay. Is that loud for you guys or is it not?
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Okay, so now, I don't know if you noticed that sound right there where it was like, went upwards. Now, that was just like I was showing you in the other track where I just spent 15 minutes and I recorded all the same exact song with this drop only, without the granular sounds, obviously, because this was before. Once you record it and you time stretch and you do that, you find all the sweet sounds, the sounds that will just really stand out. And you try and put it in there that you think would fit the best, that would follow the rhythm as well. That's the hard part about it, is trying to follow the rhythm at the same time, because you know these are sounds that do not follow any structure, right? So you're trying to fit these pieces into this puzzle, you know, just by hearing it, and it's kind of difficult to do that because it's just the waveform of them just doesn't make much sense. So you can cut them and make them fit. It's just it takes a little bit. So that's kind of what I did. Was once I had all these sounds, I could place them anywhere I wanted and realize that they're only going to show up once in the song, and that's going to be the one time you're going to hear it. It's not going to be a sound that you'll hear throughout the song. And that's what I meant by Easter eggs. If you can have Easter eggs like that where people are like, what the heck is that sound? How did he make that sound? And you only use it once, that's like even better, because people will be like, why would you use this one amazing sound once? You know, it's there's different sounds in here that you'll hear, and I notice it more, but if you listen closely, you'll hear all the granular sounds in here. And I think the way that I use Fruity Granulizer is kind of unique, and I use it in Legend of Coda too. It's the same thing there. Actually, I don't think I use it quite as much in this portion here, but I use it a lot here, I think. Hold on.
I like this. This is good.
So, thank you. It's actually,
yeah.
I don't know, you're good. I don't use it quite as much in Legend of Coda. I kind of use more sound design than anything else. I don't use the granular as much. All right, so that's a good example without granulizer, I guess. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what you were saying, like it's I guess my best example was this first one here, because you can use a lot of granular sounds and still keep the song melodic, but it's like still experimental, and that's just my style. I mean, that's just what I want. If you don't want that, then that's fine, but I just like to add that spin on it. Because that will stand out a lot to me. Let me go back to.
Let me go back
to Fruity.
Jeeves wanted to point out, or I don't know if this is what he wanted, but I'm kind of thinking that. So aside from experimental synthesis, what about some of the more core synthesis, like saws or plucks, or just the things that stand out more conveniently or conventionally? Sorry.
Let me see if I can open up I don't have any good songs to use as an example. I don't have my actual projects on here to give a good example for. I can try. It's really, really difficult to open some of these projects, but I'm going to try and open them because I'm using the primary sound driver, and these songs can't. These projects. I'm going to try it though. I'm going to try and open it up.
Okay, so while he's opening up a project, feel free to come in and ask questions while it's loading up. Anybody want to take the
Well, I barely heard it here and there. Every time he would stop it whenever it come on, but I really want to know how he got that woozy pad sound.
When what song? Is it the same song that I was the one in the project, or the one on SoundCloud?
The one in the project.
Oh, the one in the project. Like in the very beginning of the song, before the drop or during the drop?
After the drop.
Oh, after the drop. Oh, like the chords, kind of like the breakdown portion, I guess. I think that's what. Yeah.
It's almost like a Rhodesy pad type of thing.
Yeah. That's a very simple sound. A lot of those sort of sounds they can be easily made, but at the same time. Oh, you okay?
So sorry for interrupting. What program of FL Studio is it?
I'm using 11.
11? Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's old. Yeah. That's kind of.
Yeah, I'm using FL11, and it's really not that much different than FL12. It just looks a little different, but really everything functions exactly the same way. May not be quite as familiar, but if you look at the mixer in FL11, it's exactly the same. It just has a different style to it. See, I'm missing a lot of stuff from this project because it's supposed to be on another computer that really doesn't work anymore. So I'm actually missing a lot. Let me see if I can just get to this example here with the sounds here with some of my simple stuff. Let's see. I'll actually play it here because I'm missing a lot of the sounds. I'll show you the actual song itself. This is a song that I'm referencing. It's completed and.
Wait, Richard, are you a person from Artists or no?
No, he's not.
Okay, goodbye, Richard. What the
fuck?
What does 2020 mean?
Like MAGA 2020.
We gotta go. Keep going, Jkuch.
Wait a minute, did I just...
Did you just call us out? Oh, what an asshole.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay.
Who knew that Zoom was an alt-right platform?
Yeah, dude.
Right? Like, oh my god.
This is made for business people. These business owners just like calling us out.
What happened? I don't understand.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was that guy who came around last like 15 minutes ago who just creeped us all out. And then this, I think it's the same guy with a different name, came in and he started commenting. We caught him before he was able to say something, but like he
said something in the chat. That
he called us he called us very bad racist slangs, but we kicked him.
We can't. Oh, this is because the thing is public, I think. Right?
I don't know how to. No, there's no public option. I don't know how to turn off public. I went through everything.
Creepy.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. Like, we're all on the lookout now. I think we could all just kick him as soon as they join.
Oh no. Okay, he's gonna sneak out. He's gonna sneak up on us.
Oh shoot! This person is so alt-right. White power.
See?
What the hell? Okay, all right, let's continue. Yeah, sorry, let's not get distracted on that, guys. We got better things to look at.
All right. So yeah, this is a song with the project that I have open. It's just it's missing a lot of the files. So let me play from here.
Wait, I think the screen froze, Jkuch. Can you like rescreen share?
Oh, is it because I'm on FL?
You are on FL though.
Is it just showing FL?
Yeah, it's not scrolling or like changing.
Oh, it's because I'm playing it through SoundCloud.
I was like, oh man, like it's.
I was like, something's wrong here.
Yeah, I'm playing it through SoundCloud. I just because every single time you share, it only does one screen. It doesn't switch to whatever screen you go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so.
It's
scared.
okay though. That's all right. So, anyways, yeah, I just played the song. This is pretty much the part. So let me see.
Okay, that was awesome.
So yeah, let me see. Okay, so this song has a lot of it's a balance of simplicity and complexity. It's the balance of it. So let's see what I got going on here. So if I take this sound, this is a fairly complex sound for the most part, right? It sounds like a weird dubstep sound, but it's actual chords. That's the neat thing about it. Now let's see what happens when I take all the effects off really quick. Doesn't sound quite as nice. Plus I have a phaser on there for some reason. I don't know why.
So do you truly believe that the best sound that you could get out of it is in post-production, like in mixing?
Yeah, most Valentine produces like that. He has very simple saws, but he does a lot of cool effects. I honestly use stock FL plugins, so I don't have a lot of option as far as making it sound different from the original file, but you can still do some interesting things with the post-production stuff, post-mixing at least. So with this sound, I have a lot of unison, a lot of phaser, and if you don't recognize Harmor, that's okay. It's only got different parts in here. Don't worry about all these knobs. I know it's confusing. You got the filter section here, and then you got these yellow knobs, which are all phaser, and then you have this unison section here, which is all voices, which is basically chorus.
Yeah, it's like because of the chorus.
And then you got harmonizer, and that's like adjusting the harmonics of it. And then
Prism?
I'm not even gonna go into that.
Don't go into that one. Don't look at that one, guys.
That's like where you take.
Prism is the weirdest thing in the whole world.
It's like, here, let me see what happens.
It's super cool though.
Yeah, it's not too noticeable, but
yeah, it's actually not bad.
This is what happens without harmonizer. Let's see what happens.
I think you're on a different harmor.
No, I don't think I'm using very much. Yeah, this is right.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really not that much that the harmonizer's doing. So it's just a slight detail maybe. All right, so anyways, unison, this is what it sounds like without unison. So unison adds voices to it, makes it, and I'm not even gonna go in, well, maybe I should go into it. This is like complex stuff, guys. You really don't want to do this. So what I have is I'm editing this pitch here, right? So edit articulator, I'm pitching it down so it goes all the way down. So basically this automates it from where it is and it brings it all the way down. And I don't know how to explain why that makes that sound. I can just tell you, I watched a lot of Seamless on YouTube years ago. If you know who Seamless is, he's a bearded homeless dude that makes really nice sound design stuff on Harmor. So I used to watch his videos a lot. So anyways, yeah, I would honestly watch his videos to get a lot of ideas because that's how I know all this stuff. It's just through him.
I've been saying.
All right, so on top of that, I'm also adjusting the volume. So you can actually do this on any plugin. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Harmor, but it can be any plugin. There's the volume there. I'm actually taking the attack out of it. I'm making it so that it actually has to increase volume and then decrease. So it's not like just a pluck. It's more like a what's a good instrument that would make sense? I don't know. That doesn't really sound like an instrument I recognize.
No.
Anyways, yeah.
It sounds like an oboe.
An oboe.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that, it's got that sound to it. All right, I'm not even going to explain this. This sound design stuff is hurting my brain right now.
So the bigger concept question that can make it a little bit simpler for you is, what's the most crucial part about making a sound? Like, if you were to open up Harmor right now, what are the things that you focus on in order to obtain the sound you want?
Oh, first, before I do that, let me see. Does anyone use Harmor at all?
I do, a little bit. I don't use it all the time, but I know how to use it.
Well, you're gonna start doing it now, man.
Well,
all right.
Well, how about I ask, like, what's the top plugin that you use to make?
Okay. All right. Sylenth is for really simple melodic stuff. Sylenth 1 is what I use. All right. That's gonna be where a lot of my recognizable sounds are, and I will play a perfect example right now for you. If you've heard Midnight Anime, I mean, which you probably haven't, but if you have, it's this one here. All right, so those sort of sounds, and then you also hear it in my track Beb. So yeah, those like lo-fi, pitch LFO sounding stuff, that's all Sylenth. And that is a really great plugin if you want to have very chill sounds, and really is very simple. So I'm going to pull that up too. But yeah, I use Sylenth, I use Harmor, And I even use Wasp XT, which is a very simple plugin as well. It's just your basic synth.
So you use all the stuff from FL Studio?
Yeah, I actually don't use Massive or anything. Screw Massive. You don't need Serum either. Well, it's probably good to have Serum because I've never used it, but you never know. But I don't use them. Yep.
Can you have Silent and Harmor on Ableton?
Yeah, you can definitely have Silent. Harmor is something you have to purchase through, I think, usually like ImageLine. They basically own Harmor, so you'd have to kind of purchase it, and you can use it in Ableton. It's actually it's something that's supported by Ableton. You would just have to purchase it, I think, or you'd have to, but yeah, I'm just used to it because it's already in FL usually. When you first purchase FL or download it, it already comes with it. So it's just a very complex plugin for FL, which doesn't have a lot to it. So yeah, and Wasp XT is it's a stock FL plugin as well. But just think about it too is Ableton, you can recreate a lot of these sounds in Ableton too using their stock plugins. Wish I can start with a simple sound, but let me give you this simple sound really quick. If it will play, hold on. This would be a great example. See, this is Wasp XT right now. Very, very, very simple. And it's just this one plugin. I think I don't have any other effects on it. I have a very sharp delay on it, and then Maximus, which is just a compressor. But other than that, that's all it is. It's just a plug. So these are very easy to make. I don't think I really even did anything. It's just a saw wave, and it's a pluck. If you know how to make those, it's it'll take you 2 seconds. And I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's complex and simple sounds mixed together. So I have these weird sounding chords, and then in between them I have these really simple pluck sounds. And the reason why I think it's good to have those thrown in is because it will ease you out of knowing that the song is 100% dirty or is completely experimental. You have those little spots here that will make it sound more simple and more not mainstream, but something that people will recognize easier or be able to pick it out. And I also compare it to video game sounds. These sound like something that would be from a video game, especially with the weird sound effects that I always throw in, whatever the heck that is. Yeah, so always you never know, always do complex and simple stuff together. I'm really not explaining this very well. I'm trying to figure out, let me get a topic here. Let me see.
You're fine.
No, I mean, I'm just want to get something that will stick with you guys, that will help you out.
Well, if anyone
would
wants,
you recommend Maximus as a compressor?
I would, only because I use it, but I haven't used any other compressor, so it's probably not the best thing to.
Maximus would be the equivalent to like multiband on Ableton.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maximus.
Yeah, you can do a good amount with Ableton, which is never underestimate the stock plugins in Ableton, because you can do crazy amount with those. And it's hard to compare them to FL Studio, because FL Studio has everything looks different, but in theory every plugin is going to be very much the same. It's just the way they look and everything.
Does anybody have a sound in mind that's more targeted for what they were trying to find out, in order to give Joshua more like direction, in the case
like
that...
I was saying, the really boozy pad from the other track was the only one I was trying to figure out.
And that's what I want to
ask a question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like, what are your, this is kind of like off topic a little bit, but what are your favorite like parameters to like automate?
a lot of the time it's going to be and Elijah knows this because I was a big fan of AU5. So what happens is when I'm making sounds in Harmor, I will automate the phaser portion a lot. Only reason why I like that is here, I'm going to show you something cool. I don't know if this is going to make it very visually appealing for you, and you will actually understand phaser a little bit easier. If we had Babacon in here, he would explain it too, and it's kind of funny how much we are like when it comes to that sort of stuff. It's kind of weird because he used to make like AU5 dubstep like I did. Long story. Anyways. All right. So I have a fresh Harmor sound. I'm going to make I'm going to make a little chord here. All right, whatever. So I have this very simple, it's just a saw wave, that's all it is. Don't worry about anything else right now, it's just a saw wave, right?
Dead
when
mouse.
we pull up dead mouse, yeah, exactly. It is. That's all it is. All right, so when you pull up parametric EQ, and I don't know if you have, I mean, if Ableton has like something visually, friendly as parametric EQ, but I'm pretty sure they do. And I know they have better EQs than FL, but just as an example, you can see this. All right, so I paused it there. You can see
Okay, okay, start now. I'm so sorry.
All right, TRAF, I forgot.
I forgot too.
Is everyone here? We gotta get them back in.
Okay, they should all be back.
Tier, I'm so sorry. All right.
Okay,
Rip.
guys, in the case that happens, just know that, well, you know what happened. Just, the delay.
Yep.
All right. I still have it paused. We're still good.
Back in.
Still got the thing paused here. So yeah, we got these chords, right? They show the harmonics for those simple chords, saw wave, whatnot. So you can see that very, very, very simple. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I'm even explaining this right. I had this all in my head for a second. Hold on. And I lost my whole thing going on. All right, so all I did now was I added a phaser. See what happens when you add a phaser.
Oh, share sounds.
Oh no, I forgot.
That's okay. We're still waiting on Jeeves. Gabe, get Jeeves back.
All right, I'll get him. One sec.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All right, so let me play that again. So here's without the phaser. Here's with the phaser. And you can actually notice if you look at my mouse here where the waveform is, look at the actual... Oh, Elijah, what's that? Do you know what the plugin is where you can visually look at the waveform?
Wave shell.
Wave candy, right?
Top right.
Wave
candy.
Oh.
Wave candy.
Oh.
I'm sorry, wave candy.
You told me wave shell.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the candy.
All right. This isn't good. I don't like this one. What's the good one?
You could change it to the... That
There's
was
a
not it.
spectrum viewer. Or you could just use the spectrum viewer inside Harmor.
Oh yeah, true. Oh my god, you just literally
Dude,
pull
see,
up a
that-
spectrum.
Gabe is taking the stage now.
No, you're right. All right.
Yeah, but
Shoot, I completely forgot about that. How do you extend this out?
Click it again.
Oh shoot, man, you know everything about it. Why didn't I do that? All right, we'll have 2 spectrum views. All right, there's a regular saw wave. Look at this. Look at this bland looking thing. Look at this bland right here. All right, so when I turn the phaser on, here's a phaser right here. Look at this thing. All right, watch what happens. Whoa. You see that? You see what's going? So it's taking your notes here. You got your notes, your regular notes here. It's basically taking, from what I know, is it's taking the frequencies and it's shifting it along with the chords. And I wish I could let me pull up the EQ here. And you can actually make an EQ, you can make a phaser using an EQ. And I'm going to show you an example of that right now. So imagine this is your EQ. You got your sub, you got your low end, and you got your high end. You're taking frequencies from that and you're shifting them. So you're basically punching a hole. You're just beating the crap out of this waveform, right? So you're punching a hole in this thing. Imagine this is you punching a hole into it, right? So you're punching this waveform. Watch what happens when this hole is in this waveform. Once I turn the freaking parametric EQ.
Always remember to turn it on.
Yeah, make sure to turn it on first of all. Okay. Now, do you hear that gap? Hear it when I move it now. Now, that doesn't sound too pretty, but imagine if it wasn't just one of these, but you had, you know, you had 2 of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them. You can have a bunch of them.
So you're essentially creating a phaser right now.
I'm creating a phaser right now, but imagine all of these moving to the right or left at the same time. They're all moving in unison together. So I'm moving this one, but because I can't...
Can't you link your knobs?
Oh, shucks, I have a MIDI control on my lap. You're so smart, Elijah.
Me and Gabe, dude, we're like on it right now.
You guys are really on it today, man.
Today? What other days?
Today only.
Other days you're really bad, but
exactly.
You're doing great today. I'm proud of you.
We were doing really bad on Monday. We spent 4 hours trying to get...
I know, you're right, though. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so let's see what happens when I try and use all 3 of my fingerlings to move this thing.
Fingerlings.
All right, so that sounds like trash with parametric EQ because it's so garbage. But at least Harmor isn't that bad. So what happens with Harmor is it does it for you, and it does it a little bit easier.
With one knob.
And you don't need to link it to your freaking thingy here. And not only that, watch this. You could adjust the speed on it. Isn't that so awesome? And really also, what this width knob does is imagine you have your parametric EQ and you're adjusting the width of these. You see how wide this is getting? This is like super wide right here. You don't want this, but it really depends on what you like. I mean, sometimes you like it wide, sometimes, you know, but that's what the width knob does in Harmony. I don't know. Okay.
Are we still talking about parametric EQs?
Yes, we are. So let me make this super wide and hear what that sounds like. All right. Once I turn this phaser off. All right. So let's adjust that. All right. So that still sounds pretty trashy. Harmor does it a little bit better. So I'm going to lower the width a little bit. It's doing that exact thing. The darker points here is where there's no volume or no frequencies, you know, noticed. And these are where I'm guessing these are the higher points or the louder points. You can adjust the... So if you want to be AU5, it's really easy. All you have to do, and this is a tutorial how to be AU5. So you pitch the thing down, right? Whoa, I forgot we're in a chord here. Let me take these freaking sounds out of here. All right, and then what you do is you take it from a saw wave and you move this thing over to the square wave. So it's only a square wave. All right. And then what happens is now all I'm using is a square wave and a phaser, and watch what happens. It's like, oh, and not only that, you can adjust the shape of your little.
What is
your
eggs? What are
I don't know.
eggs?
You can adjust these. Here, look. Okay, so imagine this. Instead of it being this triangle shape or whatever the heck this is, these little line shapes here, I don't like them. I don't want them to be that way. So you know what? I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use Harmor instead. And you can actually change the shape of it. So let's see what happens when I use eggs really quick. All right, so it makes, I like that shape. Let's see what happens with triangle. It's not very easy to compare, but it makes it sharper, I guess. You can kind of visually see it. And then condom, let's see what condom looks like.
Oh, that's a condom sound for sure.
That's a condom sound. That's like in bed. Let's get a bed shake sound in here too.
Oh my god.
So anyways, yeah, all right, so that's it. Let's see what twins looks like. That's interesting. It's like one is louder than the other, or one is doing more thrusting than the other.
Thrusting! No!
Oh, nasty. Sorry. All right. Cascade. Oh, that's interesting. So it's going up and down in volume or automation.
Velocity?
Velocity? No. Thrusting maybe? All right. Okay, so yeah, we got, that's box. So you can just, it's really cool visually seeing it like that. Now I'm using, and you just play with the effects and you'll get some interesting things.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah, they're kind of fun to play with. And this is very simple. All I'm using is a square wave and phaser, right? All right, so yeah, that's to answer your question that you asked me 30 minutes ago. Yeah, all that I use is not that I use, but I automate phaser a lot and a lot of sounds. And another big thing that I do is I will add something called, I'm going to go into this really quick. And then this will, I don't know, what should be, I want to wrap this up with something special because I'm not really explaining.
Arrangement and the musicality of things, like how you finish ideas. Like.
Okay. You're right. Okay, cool. That's a good way to do that. All right. Now, this isn't a good project to explain on because the project is missing a lot.
Go back to the other one.
Yeah, we can go back
the
to
boozy pad.
another.
Do you want to go back to the trapping one? Let's go back to the trapping one.
And
I think it's.
In the meantime, does anyone want to say something while it's changing? Where'd Jeeves go?
Good. I don't know.
He's here.
Told him to...
Jeeves is here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Jeeves is here. All right.
Hey.
Sick. I'm so scared of like these random intruders.
I was literally just about to say ban MAGA 2020.
You know, we got like invaded 3 times in total throughout this.
Yeah.
Wait, you
By
did?
Yeah, Joshua doesn't even know it.
You guys are defending the video, the training.
Yeah.
It's like
There's
a fortress.
Here that isn't part of the group.
I guess
There's a person here not part of the group.
Right now?
No, not right now.
Lelu?
Is his name Elijah? Get him out of here. I don't want him.
Wait, so what are you opening up right now?
I gotta open up the other because remember Trappin' 3 was the one that I saved and I was like, I don't like that because I adjusted things to it.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go back to the, and fellas, this is like a not a very good song to give an example of because this is not a normal song of mine. This is very unique compared to what I usually make. So this is me stepping out of my comfort zone, I would have to say. So, I mean, if arrangement is hard for you, it's hard for me too. I really actually run out of ideas a lot nowadays at least. I used to not as much, but you know, artists always will go through phases. Let's see. I know you were talking about like the weird pad sound. Is this the sound that you were talking about?
Yeah. In track 3.
In track 3, yeah, the chords here.
Yep.
Oh, these are really easy. This is actually silent, which you should definitely get for Ableton. You can make some nice retro sounds. It's got a really nice chorus portion to it, and chorus is what makes it sound very retro and 80s.
Oh, I love that.
I actually really don't like the sound. I think it sounds extremely cheap compared to. I mean, I like it in a way, but it took me 2 seconds to make, and it is simple because all it is one saw wave. No, 2 saw waves with 4 voices on each of them. And what happens is when they're both turned up together and they both have voices, they both interlock with each other. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but what happens when you have the two different saws together and they both have voices on them. I wish I can let me give you a good example. But anyways, wait, no, I'm getting off track now. What am I doing? No, getting off track. Okay, so arrangement, right? Okay, back to what I was trying to do. Shoot, man, I completely forgot we were talking about something at first.
But thank you for that.
I was about to go off on something. Okay, so what were you saying, Elijah?
I guess to give more direction. So I understand that this isn't like a full-on, complete like project, right? But like there had to be something going on in your head in order to understand how to like. Let's talk about the drop, right? When did you know that you were done with the drop? Because there are some people that do struggle. They're like, "Is this hitting hard enough?" And
I'm not done. I'm not done with this yet.
Okay, well, let's just talk about it as a whole right now. Like, what was necessary for it?
So I'm going to give a really, good idea. Crucial idea that I have is take it by each measurement. You know what I mean? I'm just work with this portion. You know, I have this whole portion here. This really isn't even that long of a drop. You know, it's really not that long. There's not that much, but you can fill up a lot of space within that time. But just work with the first bit and then work on the next one and see how the next one compares to the first one and how the third one, you know, and usually what I'll do is I'll cut them in half. So then the second half here will compare to the first. But anyways, if you just listen to the very first part, it's got a lot of stuff going on in it. All right, so the first thing you notice is it starts out with the first sub hit, right? You hear the first sub bass, which actually includes a distorted sound, distorted saw wave on top of it, or square wave. And I just layered it on top of the sub, which makes it sound kind of neat. Not only that, is I have the cool granular sounds that I was messing with, and what that does is it makes it sound like an electric shock, just really just random. You know, I just randomly stumbled upon that. I think that's really cool, actually. So I think that the main thing about this that makes it so interesting is it goes from some really unusual sound to no sound at all. I think it goes to a few seconds here where there's just no sound at all. And I think that space is the what I'm trying to explain. Having space between really big sounds is going to make it more exciting. And it just depends on the type of music you want to make. You know, if you're making dubstep or trap or even future bass or anything that's going to be almost in a live setting is more EDM, like having that space between them is going to make it more exciting. Just, you know, because this alone is, it's just the kick and then snare, and it with the snare there's a weird sound effect on top of it. I think I have this sound. So that's all it is kick. And then the sub bass comes back in on that kick. But that's the main part that I'm thinking of. So I'm just breaking it down with just the very beginning of that, and we're barely scratching the surface of this section here. You know what I mean? If you notice, though, there's a common pattern along with it. There's a common sub bass pattern going along with this. Let's compare it to the whole thing. So if you look at the sub bass pattern, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we got this here, and then we got this here. They're going to be the same. Having some sort of repetition in there is going to help, but still making it very diverse is also important. Let me see. Also, if you notice, the sub bass isn't taking up all the space. It's only hitting every now and then, right? So that's a big part of it too, is the less of the sub that there is, the more, what's the word?
Impactful.
The more, yes, Elijah, you're doing such a great job, buddy. All right.
Gabe.
Yeah. So the less that you have the sub, the more it impacts, you know, it's going to make the drop, I don't know, it just hits harder to me.
So, okay, if I may impede, remember our first masterclass with M Cubed? It was only with a few people, but I'll just share it with all of you guys in the call right now. So we were listening to one of our students' song, and we were confused about why the drop of the song isn't as hard hitting as they wanted it to be, and they're very confused about this. And the reason about this is, yes, spacing and negative space is also important, but that's the biggest thing. Like the impact given when there's a section when there's not much low end already hitting or less energy hitting will create better potential for the next section when it does hit. So like when he says, when you have a space in between, that gives you negative space to recover, and then it hits back again, which retrieves that energy. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. So
that was like a question, but like, I'm sorry.
No, that makes perfect sense, because I can give a great example, and that's the same thing with right before the drop of every single popular dubstep song you can think of, or trap song. They always have like some sort of person say some random thing before it, right? Right before the drop, it's like, put your hands up, or something like this, right. Or so they'll have that negative space there, so that when the drop comes in, it's going to have it's going to have more impact, because the silence before that is what really makes it count, right? So I think what you use in the negative space is what's important. And I actually really try my best to use unique sounds in that negative space. So here's an example right here. So right before the kick starts, listen to this. So what was this sound right here? It's like, what the heck is that sound? And how did it lead into that so well? I don't know how that worked, but it just did. It's this weird sound effect that I found. And it's not my sound design. I'm sorry. I wish it was, but it's something really simple, but it makes the kick drum and everything else after it come in so nicely. It almost sucks you into it. It's really a nice sound. Let's see. And exactly what Elijah was saying, the negative space is what's going to lead the rest of the song, or the rest of the drop going, I think. And if you notice too, I don't even bring in that weird twang lead in until, after after the negative space. I actually left room so that there was no sound in there, so that then when the twang stuff starts coming in, it works. So that's why there's a space here. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'm wondering what else about this is what makes it stand out. I'm thinking it's just these few seconds here. Just this portion here is what really, really works. And then the rest of this has that twang sound that you can follow, and it's an actual rhythm, has more of a lead to it. It's actually catchy in a way, if you really think about it. You can imagine this actually being like a lead if you needed it to. If it was more melodic, this could be a lead, just following a certain rhythm. And it can be catchy, I think. But it's the same sound that I'm using throughout the whole thing, but in between each part, I'm also detailing it. All right, I can't explain this very well. I'm running out of ideas, fellas.
Okay, that's understandable. So like just to summarize that whole section, basically what drives them is like the core, and what the core was to him was the sub bass. And so what he decided to do was to align the sub bass in sort of a repetitive motion so that there is that body, and then the texture and the detail all grows off of that one main core subject. So things that you would hear, the sub, and then he even waited a whole bar until he added the lead instrument, which was that metallic slap thing, and he would have that move in a similar motion as well. It would go like bum 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 bum. It would just be a repetitive thing, but what's changing is the pitch. So there's uniqueness to that, and once again, the complexity keeps building from the drum pattern itself. He makes sure to create an impact by adding the hit of the drums where the sub bass is, and it's not it's not playing the whole time, so it's not wasting its energy. It's creating more potential for when the next sub bass hits. Notice that there is no sub bass before it actually hits as well, to give it space to breathe. It's all very important. And actually, I did miss out on one thing that I was going to say. If you look at your waveforms when you export them, and you see that like your intro to verse or bridge before the drop is just as loud as the drop itself, kind of take that as like a warning sign to maybe think about things that you might need to turn down in order to make the drop more impactful. Because if the waveforms are already looking the same, and this is what Mkeep said, then you're not going to get as climatic or impacting of a drop because of the volume level. True. There's no difference basically.
Yeah. Actually, I just thought of this part again. So back to what we were saying about that like negative space portion, about it being a little bit quieter. So this part here, right? You know how the granular sounds that I was working with? This actually has no drums in it, for almost 2 bars, it seems like. There's nothing here other than, a few reverse sounds that I have, and then this granular sound. Just the fact that is there is what makes it go right back in so well, right? So let me see. It's like it's a creeping sound, and not only that is the sub in this sound is actually increasing slightly. Now it's not as loud as the sub that actually comes in. It's close to it, but it's not as loud. Because if this sub that's increasing in the sound, and I don't know if you can hear it, there's bass in this sound that you can hear. And it's just creeping louder and louder, which is so cool. But just notice that it's actually not, the sub bass is not as loud as where the drop sub bass is. It's not going to ever be as loud, because if it were, the impact of the drop would not be there.
So take that into consideration, guys. The key to continuation is refreshment. Like, for example, like what if you're at an amusement park and you're going on your favorite roller coaster ride, but just imagine if this roller coaster never ended. It just kept on looping. You guys would all die. So like you could take a break and then go back
Perfect.
into it.
That was perfect because I just imagine this. All right, you're at the top, right? You're at the top of the roller coaster, and this is like this is actually sounds like that to me. Where
it does sound like a roller. Yeah, that sounds like it's
you're about to go down. You're about to go down the hill, right? You're on top of the tallest point of the roller coaster, and you're slowly about to go down this like super fast roller coaster, right? So it's like. That's like a perfect example. You just explained my sound perfectly.
This should be at a roller coaster. We got to go on a field trip. We're going to Disneyland.
Yes. Yes. You did such a great job explaining that. Yeah, dude, that's this isn't a great song to talk about arrangement in. Because my arrangement. Let me talk about here. I can talk about this really quick before I go. I can actually switch it over to SoundCloud really quick.
Okay, and just to like wrap it up, there is one person who would like to share their track with you for review.
Okay.
And then after that, then we could just wrap it up. I think we're good. Unless anybody else wants to do something like that too. Oh, Aegon. Oh, Attila.
Oh. Yes. All right. I'm just gonna talk about this song, Legend of Coda. This song is 8 months old. I'm pretty depressed about it now. I don't like it being this old. I wish it were 2 months old again, when the hype was still up. And anyways,
what was that? That's what happened. That's part of being a producer, guys.
Part of being a producer is you get down on your songs because they're old, and you're getting old, and your songs are losing recognition. And your life is becoming
James works really fast. That never happens to James.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
He figured it out. He figured out like how to make a song every day.
Well, my motivation has been slacking because I've been working all the time. But anyways, I mean, shoot, man, I'll get back into it one day. I'm working on songs. I'm working. Calm down. All right. So this song has as many genres as you can possibly think of. It has house, it has dubstep, it has future bass, it has some violin stuff in there, right? So it's gonna have every single thing you want in there, and that's what I want. Holy crap. So it's got everything in here I want. And I'm gonna start it from around here just to show you how I'm arranging this song. And you can see the peaks of this, right? So if you're looking at a waveform of a song, these parts here where my mouse is, can you even see it? Are you guys seeing it? Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, cool. And you can hear it, right?
Right.
Or you were hearing it. This is going to be, this won't be where the drop is. This is going to be more than likely the build up. This is going to be the build up, drop, have it break down again. You can even see the volume drop as it's getting closer to the next part, and that can actually mean something too, because as you notice, the volume is decreasing, or at least the weight of it is decreasing. That it's going to be building up to something, which can help out. And you can just barely see them. It's like these little valleys in between, and that's really important to have if you're trying to build bass heavy songs, or if you're trying to do more EDM type tracks. So first drop is a house bit, right? All right, so that's a complex little part there, right? And that draws your attention. Okay, so notice how I go from that to breaking down to going back to the next part. This is probably the easiest way to show you how building up and breaking down is. And I think my mindset was, the way that I worked on this song is I started with this drop here, then I made the house part, and then I skipped to this part, and then I skipped to this part, and then I just copied and pasted the original house part to the end here, and I changed it up. And that's really weird arranging, right? So this arrangement here makes no sense, and it's different than most EDM songs, because you usually have like an A and B sort of build up drop thing, right? Well, I was like, you know what? Screw that. You don't need that. I don't want it, so I'm not doing it. And I ended up just doing multiple drops, or almost like multiple songs in one song. So here, let's listen to the second part. Oh no, you missed the good part. Here we go. So I went from house to like dubstep future bass thing here with all my experimental sounds in there. Why did I decide to do that? Well, I'm experimental and I don't care about genres. Genres are just limiting, right? So you don't need them. I honestly don't know why I decided on having house here. It just sounded good, so I left it. But I'm trying to explain this so that people can hopefully take this and be able to run with it. But
are you guys following along with it? I mean, just ask them.
Yeah, I'm following.
I'm trying to think. Basically, what I feel like a lot of people would have a hard time with is their stuff sounding like other people's, or sounding too much like a mainstream sound or whatnot, or they just don't know what sounds like them. Well, I think the only way you can find out is by doing something that most people wouldn't do, which is, for example, fitting 6 drops into one song, and they don't really.
Oh my god!
I mean, we kind of learned this in the marketing. The guy told us that we got to try like different ways of innovation.
Yeah, and I can be honest. I mean, that's kind of what I did here, I think. And it's not like my other songs. Like, none of my other songs are like this. This is a very strange arrangement as far as the song goes. And obviously people like it, and it makes me feel good. So it goes from that, and then it goes to this weird dubstep thing here. Another thing that I notice is it's like change-ups on change-ups. So you'll have like a completely different drop, but on top of that drop, there will be something very similar, but end up completely changing. Like this main sound would change up, or it would still be in the same rhythm and everything, but it would change up to a way that would still keep it fresh.
Okay, so you're talking about changing, right? What?
Yes.
And then you just mentioned that it would keep it fresh. What is your science behind that? How can you explain how these two different drops still work together as a song in general? Because what if people want to try being different, but it just doesn't really fit? Like, how come it fits in your song? Why do you think so?
I think because a lot of the sound design still ties together. There's a very few sounds in all of these drops here have maybe 1 or 2 sounds that tie them all together. And I'm actually automating some ambient chords underneath them, and they're in one chord, because the song is actually only using, I think, 2 chords throughout the main drops here. So I can easily automate something that I had rendered that's basically just a big ambient pad. I'm just automating the volume on that. And I think not only that is maybe I'm having some background. It's probably just the background sounds that I use, along with the sound design, because the sound design ties it together too. But as far as keeping it so that it fits in the same song, I don't know how to explain it, because the only things that are tying it together, like I said, are just a few background noises. It's really not that much compared to, from this.
I can use the similarities.
Yeah, and it may be just the mixing too. The way that you mix is what makes it sound, keep it the same. And it's the drums, obviously. Drums will keep it the same, will make it sound like, and as long as you don't touch the sub bass, everything will still sound very much the same and feel like it's in the same sort of universe here. And then when you go to this part here, I guess what it is that works so well with this is the fact that all of these drops here are pretty much following the same chords, same sort of main root chord system that builds up the whole song, I guess. They're all following the same melody in a way, kind of deep down.
Yeah.
So no matter what change-ups I have, they're still going to be following some root chords or, you know.
So just remember this, like remember from week 4 when we were talking about arrangement, like a lot of change can happen for sure, but as long as there is some root pattern, root similarity, something that stays coherent, that will allow you to change. So with every change, you need a base. And with that, you can be as flexible as you can. It is like you do have to learn this. Like it's not like you're going to be able to master that. It is like a process. But the same concept that Jkuch is explaining is the same thing that, you know, what Alex or Babacon explained the other day about how he arranged his song. You know, changing things but also keeping some things tied together so that it's not completely different.
Yeah, actually, I can give you a good example now that I think about it. Is Flying House is a perfect example.
Okay. After that, I think we'll just go to the song.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Then,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm getting tired, dude.
This is the 24-hour stream.
Shoot, man, I've been keeping you guys long. All right, no, I won't show.
No, sorry, it's okay.
You're good, dude.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna show you this real quick. Okay, so Flying House. Oh shoot, man, look at this. Ooh.
Okay, so how do we get 81K plays?
I don't know. This is 2 years old though.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Chromanichi where he can get 100,000.
Cromanichi is a different story, dude. I wish I could get him on.
Chromanichi gets 100,000 in 2 months. Okay, I get this in 2 years, which is still good. I'm not complaining, but
yeah,
you know,
come on.
SoundCloud's dead anyways, right? Yeah.
According to that one guy.
Yeah, dude, I'm sad. He said that. I cried.
Oh no.
I muted my microphone and I cried and I went to bed.
This track is monetizable.
You're monetized.
That's what happens when you say monetizable.
I completely forgot that this is taking up 45 minutes each time.
I forget too.
Well, no, I'm just surprised how long I'm doing this for. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I need to go to sleep after this. After I listen to the song. I'm not good at explaining things though. You're far as like,
good job. For your first time, I think it's pretty good.
No, I mean, as far as like, if I hear someone else's song, I'm not going to be good at criticizing.
Well, everyone's already here listening.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Okay, so all right, let me go back. Let me wait for everyone to come back in real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably heard the song anyways, but that's okay.
The first one was from Jeeves. The second one is from whoever likes to volunteer.
Okay.
And I think Attila did, and maybe Gabe, or I don't know.
Oh, I didn't send anything. I could, but it doesn't matter.
Wait, where do you send stuff?
I sent one, for sure.
We could just put it in the pool, in the comment chain.
That's what I did.
Okay, cool.
Oh, wait, it kicked me out, so now I have to send it again. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sent it now.
All right, sick. Jeeves, you can drop yours down in there too.
All right, I'm going to play this really quick just to show an example of what ties this all together. If you listen to this song, every single bit of this is not tied together almost. I mean, they're very, very loosely tied together. So I'm going to play the first drop, this drop, and this drop. And it's kind of hard to see the waveform because of the backdrop here, but it's okay. So let me play this. Did I not hit the thing again? Hold on.
Oh, yeah. You got to record. Share sounds.
Gosh. All right. Gosh, Josh. Let me see. There we go.
Gosh, Josh.
All right. Here we go. All right. Can you hear it? Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So you play this. Now, do you hear that top flute sound, that top lead a little bit?
Yeah.
If you listen really close, you'll hear it. It's just one lead sound. right, so you hear that lead sound. That shows up there, and then I think it shows up here.
Oh, the thing that goes da na na na. That thing.
Yep. That's the thing that's gonna be your catchiness portion, I think.
So a motif is what he's identifying.
It's a repeating sound that still shows up throughout the track. So let's see. And then I also play it here, I think. So on top of that, with that motif kind of showing up throughout the drops here, the drops are completely different, but that lead still shows up and it still pops up throughout there. And that will help tie the song to one body. You know what I mean? It's going to have all these different parts still feel like it's the same song. And on top of that, we also have an ambient sound that's in the backdrop. There's going to be one background noise that actually shows up throughout the entire song. And I don't know if I can explain it or if you'll be able to notice it, but it's like an ambient square wave. That's like an ARP. Let's listen really close. Hold on. Not there. That sound. It's like a high-pitched sound. It's almost like an ambient. It sounds almost like...
You play it again? Oh, the thing that's like...
Exactly. You got that. Yeah. So that is actually used throughout the whole song, too. So that also can help tie it. It's an ambient noise. It's not even something that changes chords or anything. It really doesn't fill in anything. But that being there can actually help fill up the song as well. Because if that sound was not here during this part, I think it would be totally different sounding. And you notice I have it here too. It's just like a ringing ambient reverb sound, and it helps kind of fill in the space, and it makes it feel like it's larger than it is, you know, the space of it. It adds space. And this is also a song that has a lot of
granulars,
and it has a lot of space in it, a lot of the great use of space. Let's see. Yeah, so it's complex along with simple sounds that really make the magic work. You gotta have the combination, man. All right, let me hear someone's song.
All right, so we got
Jeeves.
Jeeves.
You're first.
Jeeves, you're up on the stage. I guess you could tell him about the song beforehand before he plays it.
Well, what would you like to know about the song? I mean, I don't really.
I mean, just anything you wanted to know.
Is it for somebody?
No, it's not for anybody at all.
Oh.
It's just, I mean, it's for Future Collective, but that's not really somebody in specific. So.
Oh, okay. No, I got you. Let me see. Yeah, are you gonna? Oh, is he gonna play it through his speakers or something?
No, it's in the chat.
Oh, I don't even see the chat, dude.
You go where it next is share screen, and there's a chat button.
I can send via Discord.
Oh, I got it. Is it this one here?
The one under Jeeves.
Oh. Whoa. All right, I'm just gonna, should I just play it through here? Yeah, I guess I can.
It's pretty good.
Can you hear it? Wow, I really like that. I think it's a great song. I think it's I like it because you do exactly what we were just talking about right here. Hold on. It's just the slight, I mean, it's not slight, but it's, it's good change ups between, and you can visually see where it goes from one piece to another. And you can see the change, and you can hear the change ups. I mean, I like how the chords become more either detuned or they become more stereo in this portion. Yeah, it's good because it keeps you interested. It keeps growing, It starts from like chill walk on the beach music to some chill future stuff. Yeah, I really like that. I don't have any like mixing things. I'm not very good at mixing in general, so I can't really judge mixing, but I don't notice anything really. I mean, I would change it up more than this, but that's just me, because I'm gonna change things up regardless. But what I would do if it were my song, I would use like less of the drums and the breakdowns. I would use some sort of other percussion other than these drums. But it's all personal taste and flavor, you know what I mean? It's that's what makes you. So I can't judge you on that. And I like it because it's like lo-fi hip hop. drum sounds, which I'm completely fine with. Yeah, it's definitely got like enough change ups. I really like it.
John, where are you at?
I love it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's kind of it's music that you can just kind of chill out to. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know really what I was trying to go for this track. I just kind of threw it all together and called it a day. But it's kind of it's super chill compared to my other stuff.
Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, if you're able to make it quick and it still sounds good, then yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it, especially coming from you.
Oh, shucks, man. Yeah, it's honestly there's not much you can really do with it, I think. I mean, and I'm one for detail, and that would probably be me, is I would detail it, put some different like sound effects in between here. It doesn't have to be granular, crazy stuff. I mean, for something this chill, but you can still put some obscure things in there in between, add some space to it. But that's all stuff that you kind of get an ear for later on anyway. So for something kind of starting out, this is great. So yeah, it's definitely it's a nice like laid back song.
Thank you.
Yeah, gotta get you could throw some vocals in. That's another thing too that I do, is not actual singers in it, but you can take an acapella and adjust the pitch. The human ear is like it's now gotten to a point where we listen to songs more with some sort of vocal presence, some sort of human vocal presence in it, regardless of if it's like a vocal chop or if it's just a long pitched note of a vocal, to where it's almost just synthesized. We will pick up on that more than just music nowadays, just because it's what we've been getting used to, I guess. You can always do that if you need to. You can do like a reverbed or ambient vocal in the background, do some sort of, to where it's just drowned out. Doesn't even sound like lyrics or anything. It's just completely drowned out by reverb. If you want, in the very intro, you can make it more ambient that way using vocals and stuff. Yeah, you could do a few things with that. But if not, it's still chill.
I appreciate all the suggestions. Those are pretty helpful for when it's ever gonna be released. I don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know when.
I'll freaking talk to Michael.
Yeah.
No, it's actually gonna be released May 21st. I was just joking around.
I'm not talking to Michael.
I mean, I don't know when I'm releasing any of my stuff. I'm still waiting on people. I'm too impatient to release music anymore now. It's too much.
That's how I feel. I mean, you have this track and you're like sitting there waiting. I don't know, like there is a stigma where if you release too much, it kind of gets annoying, but building up for a release is kind of like, it's nice to have a build up for a release, but you also want to keep your online presence.
Yeah, because I haven't released in 3 months, so I'm like losing that.
Right, and then if you could pick a big label, they'll obviously want you to release with them, but it'll be a few months before you even get to release it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 months before your next release is gonna hit.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I'm too impatient for that. I need to release something soon.
Also, that could mess up like the impact of your song. Like your song could do so well right now, but if they make you wait, like it might not hit as well.
Yeah, especially if you're starting out, you need to be like me. I think I have a little bit of a presence. Not saying I have a lot, but I have a little bit to where if I released, maybe 3 or 4 months from now, I'll still maybe get a good amount. But if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of fans yet, releasing every month is probably crucial. I mean, look at Chromanichi. He just released whoever said SoundCloud is dead, look at Chromanichi.
Yeah,
okay,
Chromanichi kind of proves that wrong, because like he's a new artist and he's gotten like 5,000 followers in the past 5 months, which is really great.
He's gotten to this following in almost a year, I think.
Yeah, no, I saw his history. It's just a whole year and a half of being on SoundCloud, which is really good, by the way. Like, I don't know. It's a very good pace.
Yes, especially for how long Elijah and I have been in this. It's been 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still less than he is. And that's not, numbers don't really matter, but it kind of does when you're looking at somebody who's just starting out and they're getting all these comments. Like 2 years ago, he had this many. Boom. Oh, there's like a certain point you notice he starts blowing up. Let's see. Okay. All right. So he's at 12,000 here. Oh, shoot. Okay. Now he's getting a lot. All right. Oh, there you go. That song Bliss, I think, is what kicked him in. And he's going in next month. Oh, the next month. These aren't even his. Next month. So I think he was releasing almost every month a song. And they saw that, I guess. And I don't know. That consistency is really important.
So Attila has a song that he'd like for you to review as well.
Yeah, I was going to see, is that this?
It's on Clip.
Okay, I see it.
Oh, God.
Let's play it. Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.
Shoot, you guys are all really talented. I like it. I don't have really much. I actually really like the percussion. I almost imagine like a big build-up once it got to this part, I think. I can imagine like a sweep going up with this like percussion, because it's like such a weird, like such an unusual percussion kind of like rhythm. I almost imagine it like building up with that percussion, and then it leads into like a bigger portion here with drums and stuff. But other than that, this song, that's just me. Like that's just what I'm imagining where it would go, because I can just get a vibe from it from this like longer intro. It's like really chill and ambient, and then having this drum portion come in, I could just imagine it then build up into like a big drop or something. That's just me though. But it's still really, really cool. I like the ambience in it. It's I like all the pads that you use in it, and the vocals are really cool too.
Thank you. It's all me.
Yeah.
I just had one question about it though. I definitely want to ask.
Yeah.
In the second drop, I feel like it kind of stalls out a little bit because I kind of like ran out of tricks.
Oh, you just ran out of ideas or something? You just kind of...
Yeah, and I was like, I'll just let it ride.
Yeah, I got you. That's why I was saying it would be kind of interesting too, because with this format, it seems like it would be kind of interesting. You got the longer intro, you know, this would be your main area. You want to get your ideas out or whatever you have here is fine. And then once this part comes in, have like a background build up into something else, and then have the rest of the song carry off this main drop that carries off the rest of it. And then that way you can also bring in the chorus again throughout that drop. So then you're not having to copy and paste what you had at the very beginning.
So like sound wise, you're saying copy some things sound wise or copy some things vocal wise?
Oh, just vocal wise, like, you know, bringing your chorus back in, like you had, or, you know, it's bringing the vocals back in, because that's what will make it kind of catchy, is having the vocals come in, but changing up the actual drop or the actual song itself is gonna be what will help out, I think. But I think it still sounds great either way. Like here, that's what I mean. For some reason right here, I imagine it building up into something. Let me see. And you have like a pitch, like you have one note and it's pitching upwards, and as it gets upwards, like toward the drop, and then have it kind of drop into like a big melodic section or big section. But as it's pitching up or as it's building up, you can try and like take out some of the bass until it gets to the drop, you know what I mean, so that it makes it even larger when the full-fledged like melodic section comes in. That's just something I'm imagining though,
because I have no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's completely fine, because I think whatever direction you go is perfect, because you're doing your own thing. I can just say it doesn't sound like anything I've heard, you know, on SoundCloud in a while, which is good, because
wow, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's not I guess I don't listen to chill music very much, because both of those songs I listen to are very chill, and I don't really listen to that type of music for some reason. So I guess that's why I'm saying it's not something I've really heard, because I don't listen to this type of music, but it is unique. So as long as you keep doing the unique portion, which I really like, is the drum pattern and whatnot, that's really unique. Just always remember, copy and pasting. If you run out of ideas, it's fine, but try your best to just squeeze out as much, you know, ideas as you can as far as continuing the song, and imagine it almost like a story, because that's what I can tell from this already, is it's got its intro and it's building up. I feel like it needs to build up to something even larger. It's already like a large ambient track, but I could just imagine it building into like a larger portion where it's just all, I don't know. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff either. So you can always experiment with that, but if not, leaving it the way it is still good. It's the more music you make, you know, leaving this the way it is, it's fine because it's your song and you can let that be your song on your SoundCloud. But you know, then the next song you make hopefully will have more change ups, or it's going to be a little bit different, and then the song after that will be even more unique. And then you'll start realizing that your sound is going to be, you'll notice what your sound is, and you're going to notice what makes you different from others. So, which is good.
Thank you. Oh, and one last thing. On that second, the second half of the second drop, that little like gravelly like turn down, wind down thing that I did with the whole song, does it sound cool or does it sound like something's wrong?
Let me see.
Right here. That.
Oh, like the stopping point?
Yeah, because I did a weird effect and it didn't just stop everything. It literally like grabbed everything and like shut it off.
It could work, but you may want to drag that silence out more and then have it build up build up into it. You know how it's like when you use silence, you're wanting it to lead into the next portion. So if there's going to be like more after it, you may want to have it like be silent for a second and then have something almost build up into it again, or like a really quick sound. And I'm not meaning like a full on build up. I mean, using the silence temporarily so it can lead into the next part. Cause that could still work, but, yeah,
it definitely kind of sounds like a...
Yeah, it sounds off right now, but you can always work on it or extend it out more so it's like either more silent or, you know, I don't know. Just kind of remembering where like the rhythm follows it, I guess. But
okay.
Yeah, right now where it is, it does sound kind of off, but I think you can always mess with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. No
All right,
problem.
so we have one last share from one of our other producers. His name is Quentin, and I think that'll do it.
Quentin.
All right, I'm listening from here.
Could skip it.
What?
You could skip the intro.
I don't think it's working. Yeah, how long is the song?
I see a time up there that says 47 hours and 42 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm not about to listen to 47 hours right now, all right? I only have 5 minutes left in me.
Yeah, that's basically it so far.
What was that?
And that's pretty much it so far. But yeah, there's just a little outro thingy. But
Okay. One thing I can say is the chords or the melody can be kind of confusing. It seems like some notes overlap each other. As far as like I can picture what chords you want, but it seems like they're not executing the right way or the way that you probably want.
Yeah.
And that's probably something Elijah can explain. But it's weird because I'm hearing like when I first started making music, and I'm realizing that when I first started, I don't know, I could just tell by the quality like what part you're at right now as far as making music, because it's like I remember when I was at that point, my music still sounded worse than that. You know what I mean? It's like I'm actually really liking how much space it's taking up. It's actually very wide, to be honest. Like it has a lot of stereo depth. And it actually kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm wearing earbuds or something, but it actually feels kind of full, like as far as like the mixing goes. It's just, it's the chords and the way that the synths kind of overlap each other. It kind of can get too much. The main thing you'll probably just want to work on like future reference, not necessarily with this song, because this is something that you can always release. It's your work, you know what I mean? But I think as you progress on, you'll probably notice, if you work on like figuring out where all your instruments sit in the mix, as far as where the synths sit. Sometimes having a lot of echo and reverb can kind of overdo it and can kind of take up a lot of space and kind of make it overwhelming. And that was just something I noticed as well. It's just a little bit too much going on. But I do like, I don't know, I also noticed that you were detailing it too. It seems like you were using a lot of different sounds in there, but I don't know. I'm not very good at criticizing music.
I think you said pretty right things. I mean, I agree on pretty much everything you say. So
yeah, and that's something you'll learn. Like you'll get an ear for it, because I'll even show you a song that I worked on years ago, and my mixing was just bad still. Hold on, I feel like my mixing was really, really bad. Let me see, what was it called? Shoot, man, why would I do this and I don't even remember the name? It's from years ago. It's like from 4 years ago.
How many years have you been producing?
Me?
Yeah.
Like 5 years. So, I mean, it was literally when I was first starting out, but shoot, come on. Where is it? It's down here somewhere.
Do you think it's bad to promote your music even though you're just starting, or do you think you should still go for it regardless?
Yeah, you should still definitely go for it, because if you hide your music, you won't look back and see what your fans. You need to start some sort of fan base, right? I have people that have like been listening to my music for since this is 2013. So I've had people listening, and they would listen 3 years later, and they're like, "Wow, I remember how much you've grown since then." You know what I mean? And people like to see that. And it's something that you can look back on, and people can look back on as well, and they can see like a growth path there. You know what I mean? And that's kind of an interesting thing to say. But this is a song from like 4 or 5 years ago, where my mixing was still not that good, right? Yeah, so don't ever feel bad, because like my stuff sounded it sounded so bad. That's a shit. What? Oh, what's going on?
What?
Willa? You're talking about Willa?
Oh, no, we're not.
Why are you talking about Willa?
I miss Willa. I'm sorry.
I just talked to him a few days ago.
I did too.
Oh, well,
I miss the music.
Also, it says less than a minute left on the call.
Oh, there's less than a minute left on the call.
All right, we're gonna let this end, okay? Because I'm gonna go to sleep.
Okay, but before you go,
what did you need to say, Elijah? What was the important thing you were saying?
So the cool thing that I do at the end of every call is I would have you ask the question or answer the question, what would you advise to every producer that's starting off? Or every, like, what would you have told yourself if you were growing?
Honestly, it's good to be down on yourself when it comes to producing, because then you'll know what to fix.
Oh wait,
so if you're,
are people actually in this right now?
Yes.
Oh crap. Okay, so yeah, before we end it,
I'm just gonna say it to you, and then you can pass it on to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just say the question. If you were
Right.
if you were to say something to yourself, your younger self, or to the people in this call right now, what would you advise them?
Be hard on your music, like in a way that where it will force you to change what you're doing, because I think there were times I would spend too much time and I'd be like, oh, I'm fine with the way it sounds or whatever. But if you're not hard on your, it's hard to say that, because most of the time if you're hard on yourself, you just beat yourself up and then you give up, right? But it's actually, sometimes it can be the opposite, because if you're hard enough to where you're like looking at other people's music and you're comparing yourself to others, it's really, it can sometimes help, push you to do better. So that's probably me, is like, if I were first starting out, just making sure that I'm pushing myself, because I'm realizing that I'm not there yet and I need to get there somehow. I think that will be a push, but not to a point to where it makes you give up, to where you're like, all right, well, now I'm never going to get anywhere, or I'm never going to get to that point. Because I remember I was literally, when I first started out, I was looking at Madion, and I was like, what the heck, man? How is this kid 15 years old and he's so good? And this was like 4 or 5 years ago.
I love him.
And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get to that point. The way that he mixes and does everything, and all of his masters are so loud. I'm actually still envious of that, like how loud his masters are, and has still so much sub punching through, and his drums are so punchy. Everything about his songs are incredible. And I was always like, how does he do this? I don't know how I'm ever going to get to that point. I even tried replicating him. And I think that was kind of healthy in a way. I mean, it wasn't healthy, but it kind of was, because me being hard on myself pushed me to be like, okay, well, I need to do this, or I need to try and figure out how he does this. How does someone make this sound so good, or whatever? So I would just listen to, interviews, or like that one guy was just saying, listen to interviews of your favorite artist or whatever, because it will help, and it will help you figure out how they mix and how they do things. And it's the same thing too. It's like I probably wouldn't master and produce at the same time if I didn't watch like Must Die videos or tutorials, because apparently or Virtual Riot, he masters while he produces. So it's like,
yeah, I've seen those. Those are sweet.
Yeah, so you learn from them. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent, but be hard on yourself, but not to a point to where it makes you give up. I guess that's the best thing.
True.
Yeah, it lets you improve, and I guess it's like just the balance. It's like almost, because I remember like the best times I would probably write music is like the closest that I was to giving up. That I would be like, all right, this is so frustrating, I'm never getting anywhere, and then I would start writing some amazing music that I still wouldn't really like. And I don't think, not everyone's able to love their music, and it took me a really long time to even appreciate my music, because I think even it was only the last year or so is when I started actually enjoying my music. And I do enjoy my music. I think it sounds good. There's some songs that I really don't like, but I do appreciate my music. And I think everyone will get to that point. Most people don't, but sometimes I think you can get to that point to where you'll enjoy it and you'll actually want to listen to it. Because that's kind of me right now. But it's hard, because I think it's just a certain, it just depends on where you are in the music thing. yeah, just remember life is short and sometimes you gotta rush this crap because everyone's impatient and everyone's including mine, everyone's like attention span is extremely short and it's getting shorter. So it's like, if you think you can't release a song for 4 months, if you're just starting out, just be like, screw it, who cares? Just throw it out there and let people hear it, and maybe people will pick up on it and they'll realize you got a unique style, and then they'll be like, no, you got to continue doing that style. So I don't know, don't hold on your music. I don't know, I'm giving way too many suggestions here. There's only one to go around.
Right.
All right. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. I'm going to sleep. I'm too tired.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you so much for going over time and going very in detail with all of us. It really means a lot. I think we all appreciate it.
No problem, Elijah. I love you, buddy.
All right. Love you, Joshua.
All right. Goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Oh, you can leave, Jkuch. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Good.
All right.
Goodbye. You're gone forever.